via satellite on Galaxy 19 FTA. At this satellite frequency, transponder rate 5, frequency 11836 MHz, polarity vertical, symbol rate 20770, FEC 3/4, channel ID, Guide US TV. You can also download.
You're watching The Newsroom, Islam Newsroom. The news you want, when you want it, from the Islamic perspective.
Now we have some websites, alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Who is Allah?
Assalamu alaikum. How are you, doctor?
Excuse me, do you?
MashaAllah.
Why do we call him Allah?
MashaAllah.
One more time, everyone.
How's everything?
Okay, good.
MashaAllah, going
These
good.
are the
Doing
ones
very good.
we're going to be mailing out.
Ilaha. Illa. Allah.
And I bear witness that Muhammad.
That's right, we're right across the river from Palestine, as a matter of fact, here in Aqaba. The new moon, the Hilal, has been sighted for the month of Shawwal.
When the adhan is called, it doesn't matter where you are. You go and you make your salah, alhamdulillah.
Now, I think this is something that inshallah ta'ala will all be able to benefit from.
Okay.
Moving on to, it is not in your hands.
Okay. All right. And I think we are ready. Well, this is finishing up. Let me see what we got here. What is this?
Log in now and make your contribution today to support your favorite project at donatetoislam.com.
Let's tip this up a little. There we go. That's better. A little bit more. And then pull me up. Okay, and here we are coming to you live all the way from our studios right here in Southern California. This is your host, Yusuf Estes, and joining me tonight, our first and foremost guest, we have Dr. Sultan. And he's coming to us all the way from, I think, St. Louis, Mo. Is that so? Where do you go?
You are 100% right on the target. That's right, from St. Louis, Mo.
Yes, sir. How is everything in Missouri?
MashaAllah, everything is doing good except all the national crises that we have. We are sharing the same part, but coronavirus.
Let's bring everybody up to date on the bad news, and then we'll give them all the good news. Bad news is... Go ahead.
Bad news is the same thing in everybody's mind. More and more and more coronavirus. You see, the other day you asked me a very challenging question. I was telling you that in rural Missouri, there is spike in the cases. Well, you said, why were there spike in the cases? I could not come up with the answer, and I would just try to say, well, Allah Alam, I don't know. Then, after the show, I remembered Allah Ta'ala's commandment. He said, if you don't know, ask somebody who knows it, you see. So who else could know it better than my wife, who is in infectious diseases? So I asked her, how come in rural Missouri we have so much spike? She said, because of crowding. Two things. One is there are a lot of chicken farms there, and all the chicken processing, meat plants are there, nursing homes. So these are the places where the spike is taking place. So that was the reason. And your curiosity made me think further than what meet the eyes. So thank you very much for giving me those challenging questions. You didn't stop. I said, I don't know, but you didn't stop at that. You just kept prodding me. So finally, I got the answer now.
MashaAllah. Well, what can you recommend for us now? Now that we know.
The same common. See, and now the situation got so bad that in St. Louis County and St. Louis City, they have asked taking masks whenever you out in the public, have masks. Indoors, have masks. Outside, if you cannot maintain social distancing, you should have masks. So that was one thing. The other thing, simple things, hygiene, washing your hands, and social distancing, personal care, hygiene, and the last time we talked about another very forgotten and simple and common sense approach to prevent any viral or bacterial infection is nasal lavage with salt and water, strong salt and water. You take a 3/4 of a teaspoon to 8 ounces of water and sniff in nose and sinuses, and you can also gargle, because what we want to do is we do not want the virus to go below our larynx. So in the nasopharyngeal area, right in this area, nasal lavage, you can do is just pour warm water on your hand and sniff nose and sinuses, or you're little, got to be a little fashionable, so to say. You can get neti pot, and then same with salt and water, do gargles, table salt and warm water. And we Muslims are, for the last 1400 years, are taught to wash our nose 3 times at each wudu. So we do 15 times each day. Well, for general public, it'll be too much for who are not used to it, but at least you do gargles twice a day, morning, evening, go to work, clean it, and come back, do it. And I think that will protect you to a great degree from infection. So these simple, nothing complex, nothing complicated, common sense approach.
Well, that makes a lot of sense to me. What do you think about our program tonight? We should, that's the good news, is our program tonight, because it's going to help. How is it going to help? Because it's going to be how long, Doctor?
2 hours.
Yeah, man, 2 hours. We've already got a caller in Arkansas. Let's see if we can bring him up. Assalamu alaikum. Hello.
Hello.
Assalamu alaikum. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Go ahead and talk to us. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Justin. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee.
Justin in Memphis, Tennessee. Is that right?
Yeah.
MashaAllah. Talk to us. What would you like to ask a question or recite Quran? What would you like to do?
No, I did have a question about the Quran that I wanted to pose to, the Creator.
You have a question about what?
About the
Quran.
Okay. All right. That's a good question. Go ahead. What's the question?
My question is does the book of Eli play into the Quran? Because I have several people tell me that it does, and other people say that it doesn't.
All right. Have you read the book of Eli?
Yeah, I have.
All right. And have you read the Quran?
Yes, yes.
All right. Now, did you read it in Arabic or English?
In English, of course. I don't.
Okay. So, actually what you're saying is that you've read a translation of the Quran, not actually the Quran, because to really understand Quran, you have to know the Arabic. Otherwise, you're just like the Bible, which has been translated out a couple languages, and over the years, it's lost a lot of meaning. You know what I mean?
Okay.
You know what I mean, though, right?
You're saying that I don't understand the Quran because it's...
No, I'm just saying that if you have translations rather than the original, so you're really relying on people who may or may not be serious about what they're doing, if you know what I'm saying.
Okay, but the same can apply to Christianity or Judaism. Like, I don't speak Hebrew either, you know?
Well, we don't have the original Hebrew anyway, so you can't read it. Whatever we have in the Hebrew today is back translated. You know that, right?
So, but what's your point here?
Well, I'm just asking a question to start with. If you know the difference between reading it in the original language, if you're relying on the English translations, I have one right here, but it's one out of many different translations, and they're pretty much the same, but you couldn't really say, okay, this is exactly the meaning, because it's not the original.
Well, I would be in agreement with you that it would definitely be more advantageous to read it in a
yeah, that's all. Let's go with your question, though. Yeah, it's not a big thing. I'm just trying to establish if you knew Arabic or not, and so we got that.
I don't know Arabic.
Yeah, okay. No sweat, no sweat. Now, the Book of Eli I have not read, so I'd have to ask you to help me to know more about it, because you have read both. So do you think they compare up or no?
I do. I think that the Book of Eli is probably referenced in the same Arabic text that it is in the Christian text.
All right. So what do you find in the Book of Eli that agrees with what you like in the book of the Quran?
The Book of Eli was discriminated from what is called the Apocrypha because it gets into other dimensions. Yeah, it speaks to the world and the fight in heaven.
All right.
And because of that, it was not allowed in the Orthodox Bible.
All right.
And I'm wondering if the Quran has any knowledge of this too, because it was around the same time.
All right. Let's look at that. Yeah, hold on 1 second. We got more calls coming in. Just hold on. We'll be right back. Assalamu alaikum.
You have a caller.
All right. Go ahead. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi barakatuh. Who is this? Where are you calling from?
Abdullah Yana. From Manhattan, New York.
All right. Would you like to recite something from the Quran or ask a question?
I'll recite Surah Fatiha.
Surah Fatiha? All right. Wait a minute. We got another caller on the other line, so you have to wait. I'll be back with you, okay?
Okay.
All right. Let me see if I can get back. Nope. I can't get back. That's the limitation of this one single phone. Assalamu alaikum. Go ahead. Recite Surah Fatiha.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم
MashaAllah. Very good. Very good. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. Yeah, let's. I'm going to ask you to call back a little later in the program because I'm trying to get back to the other person with the question, okay? But just call us. Yeah, we're on for 2 hours, so stay tuned and call us back, all right? Barakallah fikum. Thank you. All right. Oh, we lost the other call. Oh, son of a gun.
Assalamu alaikum. Take a deep breath.
I can't. Oh.
With the mask on, mashallah.
Yeah.
Are you able to breathe okay?
Yeah, let's doctor, your head is being cut off. Yeah,
Me, people?
Yeah.
Mine?
No, Dr. Adil. Let's have another look. I got to pull this down to click that one on. Okay, that's too much, Doctor. Let's try again. And I don't want to cut your head off. Now it's too high. Bring it back down a little. There we go. That's perfect. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Assalamu alaikum. This is Dr. Adil. He's calling us all the way from Tampa, Florida. And yeah. Yes, I put the mask on to make an example and couldn't get it off. Whew.
Bless you. Allah bless you.
Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. Well, we heard some of the news from St. Louis, and if you give us we want to get rid of and then all the good news, because this is a 2-hour program, special tonight to get answers to questions. We were trying to answer a question for one of our brothers, and got in the middle of that. It was somebody called to recite Quran. And what's going on as far as you know with this virus business?
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Wa alaikum salam.
Okay, Florida is, numbers, everybody's watching, almost close to 10,000, 9,500. It's peaking. It's the highest reported cases in the nation. Basically, we're trying to see how people can change behavior to impact on the virus. Now really the mandatory face mask is a must, and it should have been 3.5 or 4 months ago. We would not be in the same situation, but this is not going back. This is moving forward. There's a lot of cases, they say about the heavy congregation and then no social distancing. That's also another big.
Hello.
So the getting on the beaches and all that, and then the parties.
Okay, hold up 1 second. We just got another phone call in here. Let me see if I can put my phone on this rig here. It's not going. Okay. Hold on. We're going to try to put you on the air. All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right. Tell us your name. All right. Okay, what I need you to do is just speak up a little bit, because this... yeah, all right. So, would you like to recite the Quran? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay, what did you want to recite from the Quran? I can't hear you. You really have to talk louder, or it's going to be, we'll have to turn it off.
Surah
Mudammil. Ah, all right. Okay, what ayah?
Number 1.
All right, let's hear it. MashaAllah. A'udhu billahi min shaitanir rajim.
A'udhu minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Ya ayyuhal muzammil qum al-layla illa qalilan nisfahu وَاصْلِلْهُ قَلِيلًا أَوْ زِدْ عَلَيْهِ وَرَتِّلْ الْقُرْآنَ تَرْتِيلًا إِنَّا فمهلهم قليلا يوم ترجف الأرض
إن لدينا
الجبال كثيبا مهيلا.
Yeah, I think, you know what? I think we need a little bit more practice on that one. And inshallah, I'm looking forward for you to call us back and give us a little bit more. And make a video, please. Make a nice video and upload it to reciteontv.com, okay? Okay? And ask your parents to help you to make sure you get everything right and it looks good, looks nice, good lighting, everything. And then upload it. And then, inshallah, you have a prize just for signing in. You have a gift from us just because you joined us. And then, inshallah, the more things we'll have as we go along. Okay? MashaAllah, thank you so much. I really appreciate what you're doing.
My brother is also reciting. He's 3 years old.
Okay. All right. Who is it? Who are you talking about?
My brother.
No. Does he have a name?
And his name is Hamza. My name is Osman.
Uthman, and Hamza is 3 years old, right?
Hamza Rahmani.
Okay. So Hamza is going to recite right now or later?
Yes, now.
Now, what is Hamza going to recite for me?
Surah Al-Mutaffifin.
Mutaffifin? Are you serious?
Surah Al-Mutaffifin. 5 ayahs.
Mutaffifin. All right, hold on a second. Let me get it up here. MashaAllah. Surah 83 and the first 5 ayahs. Okay, go ahead. We got it. We're ready. Waiting for you.
ويل للمطففين الذين إذا اكتالوا الناس يستوفون وإذا كالوهم أو وزنهم يخسرون ألا يظنون أنهم مبعوثون يوما عظيم يوم يقوم رب العالمين.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Again, that's amazing. 3 years old, you did a great job. And I think if your parents will help you to... Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. Time out.
He's a robot.
Yeah, we started a robot. We can't turn it off.
You know the wind-up toy?
Yeah, pull the battery out of that rabbit. All right. MashaAllah. Okay, we need to see some videos. Let's record some videos and upload those to reciteontv.com. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. That's great, man.
My dad is big, inshallah.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Tell your daddy big salam from us. MashaAllah. All right, let's take a quick break.
Sheikh Yusuf Estes.
MashaAllah. It's great to hear from you, brother. Thank you so much for calling and sharing with me these great kiddos.
This is my dad.
Alhamdulillah. My name is Navid Rahmani and living in California.
Oh, okay. What part of California are you in?
We are in Sacramento.
Sacramento. Yes, I've been there before. Yes. MashaAllah. I hadn't been there in a long time. But that's great. This is great. We love it. All right, we got to take a short break. They're telling us we got to take a short break. We'll take our break, and then we'll be right back with more right here on Guide Us TV. So stay tuned and stay guided with
Guide Us TV.
Guide Us TV.
You're watching The Newsroom, Islam Newsroom. The news you want when you want it, from the Islamic perspective.
Now we have some websites, alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Who is Allah? Maybe we'll even see somebody enter into Islam.
Excuse me, do you believe in God? Why do we call him Allah?
One more time, everyone. Okay, good.
These are the ones that we're going to be mailing out. Ilaha. Illa. Allah.
And I bear witness. That Muhammad.
That's right, we're right across the river from Palestine. As a matter of fact, here in Aqaba, the new moon, the Hilal, has been sighted for the month of Shawwal.
When the adhan is called, it doesn't matter where you are. You go and you make your salah, alhamdulillah.
Now, I think this is something that inshallah ta'ala will all be able to benefit from.
Log in now and make your contribution today to support your favorite project at donatetoislam.com.
You're watching The Newsroom, Islam Newsroom. The news you want when you want it, from the Islamic perspective.
Now we have some websites, alhamdulillah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, and we're back, guys. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So, yeah, alhamdulillah for everything. We thank Allah for the things that He gives us, and we thank Him especially right now for the thing that He doesn't give us. Alhamdulillah. We've got a couple of our guests right now. We have Dr. Adil and Dr. Sultan. And Dr. Adil, if you would continue, back up a little bit and continue what you were explaining to us. The phone is off right now, and we want to hear from Dr. Adil. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Those kids were awesome, by the way, and Allah bless them and bless their parents for doing the effort. And this should be really encouraged all across the United States and all across the globe to keep the words of Allah and the book of Allah in their heart, the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala intended us to have, to honor the book and to not just read it, recite it, but also have the rights of that book on us, to understand it, to ponder on it, and to implement in daily lives, and then to share with others. Going back to the coronavirus update, we just wanted to let people know that it's really it's come to time now. The face mask is not optional, and it shouldn't be optional. It should be meant, for everybody, out of caring and really consideration to others, even for those who are asymptomatic. So that's important. Obviously. The social distancing, 6 feet is important, and the hygiene is important. And then there's two other things that now becoming into, attention, especially on weekends. Alhamdulillah, we're discussing, Quran recitation and so on. But I know there are people, are used to weekend parties, and I used to now with the stress and all that. And we know that in those parties, especially for young people. There's a lot of consumption of alcohol and drugs, and vaping and marijuana and so on and so forth. All that will depress the immune system and weaken the immune system. So there is multiple investigations about surges of coronavirus cases that came out from people who were. This is obviously about contact tracing, that they trace it to a party on the weekend that happened. So on the old young people that they got sick, some of them are in the hospital intensive care unit, intubated, because they cannot breathe, because all this. So I think it's really, really important for us to take these simple measures and be very strict about it and tell everybody to protect each other, protect others, and we are all in this together. So that's not just a kind of motto. We have to really apply it in our daily life, and in addition to we stay away from toxins that will depress the immune system and strengthen our immune system by the right diet and nutrition and supplements and prayer and exercise and meditation. And we've been kind of honing in on that because yesterday on, I think it was on CNN, there have been early reports that there is now a mutation of the coronavirus, now switching gears to a different brand, if you would, of coronavirus. So we don't know if even the vaccines that are coming out will be effective. So well, people are pushing hundreds of millions of these vaccination. It's kind of confusing. The data are confusing right now, and we'll go back to one thing: the virus is weak. If we take the measures, we'll be fine. Like I just mentioned, all those steps, and be very, very meticulous and very religious about it and be very strict about it. If we do that, we flatten the curve and reverse it. And this has happened already in Italy, already happened in New York City, and it came down because this stuff is not going away. And the only way to do it is really have to be a culture change where we all collaborate and be courteous of each other. If if the guy next to me doesn't have a mask and I have an extra mask, give it to them because this will protect you and him and anybody who comes in contact with. And we really should be looking at it this way. Maybe God Almighty is bringing coronavirus for us to really, really be kinder to each other. And to be to soften our heart to reach out to those who are less fortunate, or with just be friendly, even with the mask on, because a lot of people, they think that they're becoming like ghosts. There's no social connection, and as I already mentioned before, social distancing does not mean social isolation, because a lot of people felt like they're thrown out in the darkness and they've been forgotten. And especially those who lived alone, senior citizens, those who are with disability and so on and so forth. Those are the people who should be reaching out to and really trying to ease the stress of being alone. Again, going to alcohol and drugs and all that will only complicate things and will make the immune system weaker, so that they don't recover or they may reinfect themselves because their immune system is becoming vulnerable. So if we kind of promote these things about hope and optimism and really take all the precautions and leave the rest to God Almighty, I think we'll really gonna have a great impact. Don't listen to anything negative. Don't listen to any kind of fear, promoting fear and anxiety and so on. But we're trying to calm people and give them a little bit of hope that and going back, knowing that Allah is in charge, nobody else is. Even if the virus comes in close contact with you, no harm will touch you unless Allah allows it. And that's really should be ingrained in everybody's brain and mind and heart.
Yes, I totally agree with that. Now, if there's nobody here in the studio with me, can I take the mask off?
Yes, absolutely. If you're by yourself, I don't know if that's a question for you, for the audience, but yes, only if somebody next to you, just keep that 6 feet distance. And then because of the aerosolized secretion, especially when people talk or sing or have loud speak, these things are inadvertently could be traveling and so on. But common sense is the best strategy.
I want to ask you a question that I can't ask other doctors if they're not Muslim. So I have to ask you guys, if you don't mind.
Sure.
The jinn and the malaika, so the angels and the other people before us that we can't see, they're in another dimension, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
All right. So, but can they catch the virus?
Okay. Number one, Allahu Alam. Only Allah knows. This is the kind of going beyond the limits of the limited knowledge of a human being. And Allah, why you say Allahu Alam? Because these are in direct control. Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. The Malaika, they're subservient to Allah 24/7, and their job's to glorify Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. So they're always in that. That's their job description. The jinn on the other side, Allah knows best of what it is. But I will advise to everybody, and then you see it in your life. When you go to the bathroom, make sure when you're done, using the bathroom, you use the flush, clean your hands and all that, but keep the door closed, because that's, I know that, a couple of, respected sheikhs and imams that, that has emphasized this fact, so they don't keep the doors open, so the jinn would be roaming in the house and you have all kind of bad things happening. This is not the superstition, but it's definitely have a positive impact on calming, people, and having the less anxiety, maybe sleep better at night. And so if you use the bathroom, just keep the door closed.
All right. Well, you brought up a good subject now, and I'd like to follow that up a little bit. There is something the Muslims are supposed to say when they go into the bathroom.
Very good. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubth wal-khaba'ith. This is the dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Oh Allah, I seek refuge from you from khubth, anything that's harmful or malignant, and khaba'ith, and things that we don't know. Go to the bathroom, and then when you end up using the bathroom, and this is kind of extrapolated from this dua of or the prayer, you say ghufranak, that Allah was so kind to you that you got rid of the toxins, whether number one or number two, using the bathroom, because if it stays in your body, whether, urine that you can get out, that will intoxicate, the entire system, and people end up with infections and sometimes death. Same thing if the, people don't go to the bathroom because they have constipation, and people could really appreciate that. If they haven't been, you have a bowel movement in a day or two, and then their belly's bloated and they have pain and so on, and they take a laxative, alhamdulillah, that Allah enabled me to, get rid of this, toxins and relieve this constipation. So on the way out, after you thoroughly wash your hands and so on, you say ghufranak, may Allah forgive us. Because this is one way, that we don't really appreciate, or we take it for granted. Just like breathing, you take it for granted. Unless somebody's struggling for breathing and become aware of the breathing, normally, under normal circumstances, no one should be aware of their breathing. But if they become huffing and puffing, that's like a, same thing. If somebody become aware of their heartbeats, most people don't feel that their heart is pounding or skipping, or feel that their heart in the throat, like we mentioned in some of the ayat of the Quran, and when it becomes really scared of popping out their chest, or as different people express different scenarios. But the bottom line is, we took a lot of things for granted, but we should be thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the right protocol. When you enter the bathroom, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubth wal-khaba'ith. Oh Allah, seek refuge in you from the harms and khaba'ith, different harms that could potentially be there. And again, this is where you go and kind of relieve yourself and get rid of toxins. And when you're done, you wash your hands, and then then you get out, close the door, and say ghufranak. May Allah give us His forgiveness. Ghufranak.
And what about the dua after ghufranak?
I'm just saying the short version right now.
Okay.
So people kind of get used to it and use it on regular basis. Some of the brothers and I really love it so much. They have those stickies that they put it on the bathroom door, that they use, because a lot of people, you guys, so you remember what to do. Just in Islam, for those who are watching, when you break the fast of Ramadan, we say, Allahumma laka sumtu aftar. There's a dua for everything. When you buy new clothes, when you eat, and alhamdulillah, and that Allah provided us so much good food and so on, and we should be thanking Him for the food that He provided us with. Same thing when you sleep. Same thing when you. So it's multiple dua. Even with some people that have intimate relationship with their spouses or wives, that you ask Allah to not get the shaitan for the offsprings and so on and so forth, and you get a lot of thawab, and you get a lot of rewards, for that. So for every circumstance, there is a corresponding dua that you get extra rewards, and then you follow the sunnah. And if you follow the sunnah, you come closer to our beloved Prophet ﷺ. And today's Jummah, by the way, so everybody knows by now for sure what the homework is for Friday. Number 1, 10 ayahs of Surah Al-Kahf. Surah Al-Kahf, that will protect you from the Antichrist. This is the antidote from the Antichrist. So this way it will never.
I like that. Antidote for the Antichrist. The antidote for the Antichrist. Antidote for the
So hopefully
I
people
like
remember
it.
that
I
way.
like it. I like it.
Kind of branding it. And the second is make a lot of salah and taslim on the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He loves it. And,
Yeah, you mean the dua, the Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala ali Muhammad? Is that a good one?
Yes, Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad. Just
okay, so now we were talking about the bathroom. So after I complete my wudu and I'm finished, I'm walking out the bathroom. You said we say Ghufranak, and that's a good one. Allah forgive me, right?
Yes.
But
Yes,
then, actually, it just means forgive me. Yeah. But then, Ashhadu la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu Muhammad Rasulullah, Allahumma ajalni min
If you finish the wudu, I'm glad you mentioned that. I was just talking about using the bathroom. But if you're doing the wudu, you say Ashhadu la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu Muhammad Rasulullah, Allahumma ajalni tawbin wa ajalni mutatahhirin. Allah, please make me among those who are purifying themselves.
Mutatahhirin is the purification.
Mutatahhirin,
yeah,
the people who purify themselves.
Yeah, mutahhir.
Yes, purifying.
Used to be traveling with me for 12 years, mutahhir sabri. So I know that meaning.
Now remember, mutahhir could be disinfectant also. So just it depends on the way in which context you use it.
Yeah, I always call him the guy who's been purified, but now I'm going to call him the disinfectant.
So, oh Allah, please make me among those who are purifying their bodies and purifying their souls and all that. In Islam, there's inner cleanliness and outer cleanliness, and they both have to match because cleanliness is a part of faith. So it's a very, very important. It all have to match. Should be no mismatch between the outer cleanliness and inner.
No mishmish. Oh, wait a minute. That's apricots.
Apricot. That's a joke.
Mish.
You wanna hear a joke?
Yeah, I love jokes. Let's hear a joke.
Dr. Sultan, you can bring me back. You can listen to this and hopefully get.
Okay, then I'll give you a health tip. How's that?
So, you talk about mishmish. That's like an inside the Egyptian joke. So the mishmish is apricot. People would listen. So the guy went to the bus, and then he just bought mishmish, apricot, and then it's an expression. When you go there, and then he wants to get a free ticket. So the conductor. The bus, as you know, it's not like you have to pass by. The guy goes in there and he said, "Where's the ticket?" He said, "For mishmish." What are you talking about? I mean, that's an expression meaning you're never gonna get one. I'm basically gonna get a free ride. So for mishmish meaning you're never gonna get the ticket. You're never gonna get paid for the ticket. So it's expression. For mishmish meaning, you know, it's a free ride. If you know, it's a joke. It's an inside joke. So Sheikh can appreciate that.
Yeah, I think if I was the conductor and I'm going through and I say, "Where's your ticket?" and he said, "Mishmish," I'm going to reach in his bag and take one of the apricots and say, "Thank you."
Because you have the guy, but then an inspector comes, like if he be in New York City, he comes and kind of punch in the ticket.
It puts holes in the ticket.
If you don't have a ticket, how did you get up on the bus anyway?
Yeah.
So,
maybe they punched a hole in his apricot. Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
I'm glad you know about it. I'm glad this is very...
Mafi mushakil.
Very interesting.
I bring up one subject of great health importance. You were talking about. I just came in after saying my prayers, so I just got half of it. And you were talking about that how important constipation is, clearing up the constipation to have a healthy body system.
To be crystal clear, I wasn't the one talking about it. That was Dr. Adil.
Yes, Dr. Adil, yes.
I'm not the one with the problem. I'm not the one with the problem, okay.
but you know, it's a very common problem. It's a very common problem. And poor people really don't know what exactly it is and how to resolve it. So I'm going to give you a healthy tip. You see, it's not uncommon for me to see patients coming in and say, we just have bowel movement every 2-3 days or once a week or something like that, and which is not promoting health. If you want to have good health starts in your bowels. And one of the aspects of the good bowels is how often should you have relief? Well, as many times you eat. 3 times, eat you 3 times, not 3 times twice, not twice once. Less than 1 is totally unacceptable. If you have less than that, then you need to have addressed constipation problem, because otherwise that will promote a lot of chronic health problems.
Wow.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because when I was doing the heart softeners, heart series, Sheikh said, stool softeners? You're not talking about constipation. It was a heart softener to go through the verses of it. Don't get mixed up now.
Okay. Yeah, those are 2 things. Now, you bring up another important part in there, and that is that how do you define a healthy poo? Well, this is a medical subject, so it's nothing to be ashamed or bashful of it. I mean, this is the reality of life, Number 1, as I said, often you have it at least once a day. Number 2, it should give you a sense of complete emptiness and give you complete relief and not leave any bloating or indigestion behind. So that's the good bowel, and it should be foam and odorless and effortless. If you don't have odorless and effortless and give you a sense of complete emptying, you have a bowel problem that you should address through your primary care physician or gastroenterologist or somebody.
MashaAllah. Well, I think we got more than we bargained for on that one particularly. Let's go back to a question that we had earlier, and I'm sorry the phone is not working right now. It is dead, but inshallah we'll get it when we take our next break, which is going to be in about 6 minutes. But I want to come back to that subject whenever we come back after the break and talk about the phone call that we got first from the brother asking us about the Quran and the book of Eli. And if anybody else who has read the book of Eli and has read the Quran and compared these two, we'd like to invite you that when we come back from the break, if the phone's working, to call in and talk to us, or if you're watching us on social media right now, we'd like for you to leave a comment even if it's the next day or the third day or whatever after this, it's still okay to leave comments, because we often get these comments even days later. So we really value your comments, what you're doing. And we ask you to also share this, if you're on social media, to share this so that other people can get some benefit from it as well. We hope, inshallah, God willing, that anything that we do will be successful and accepted by Allah. The success that we're looking for is not necessarily a lot of hits or just people standing in line to come to Islam or something, which we'd like both. But the main thing that we want to do is have all of this accepted by Allah on the Day of Judgment, all right? So that we want to emphasize that. And I want to come back to Dr. Sultan again and talk about some of the things that we kind of talked about while he was gone. If you would like to, well, first of all, we'll go with Dr. Adil and let him give a brief review of some of the things we spoke about, and that way you can pick up on that.
Okay, great.
Sure. We most of the stuff was we're talking about the bathroom etiquettes. The Sheikh was giving a quiz question as he usually does, just to kind of test your knowledge base as well as how it is about this. SubhanAllah, we did first an update on the coronavirus and said that there's a couple of bad things happen on the weekends. Now that we have young people with coronavirus on the surge, and there was investigated and it was related to weekend parties that involved alcohol and drugs, and of course it depressed the immune system, and then it started spreading to even asymptomatic folks, and that led to a big surge in numbers. The other thing, we talked about bathroom etiquettes and a dua. Before you go into the bathroom, Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-khubuthi wal khaba'ith. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our beloved Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, that we seek refuge of Allah from the harms and the dangers of the ills and impurities of the khubth and the malignant and harmful things that happen. And number one and number two, and when you're relieved from that, on the way out, you say Ghufranak, and you close the door after washing hands and so on. And of course, now everybody knows what the flush is, so you flush yourself real good, and that should cut down the rate of fecal-oral transmission and infection, and that's huge. In America, especially, I hope one day they will actually implement these flushes in the public bath. That will cut down a lot of rates of infections. And then, if you make wudu, as well after using the bathroom, then you say Allahumma ja'alni min at-tawwabin wa ja'alni min al-mutatahhirin. Oh Allah, after you say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, you make shahada, and then you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make me among those who are purifying themselves and as who remit back to Allah. Repent back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yes. Dr.
Yes.
Sultan, I would like for you to give us a little bit of depth. I'm asking for a little bit of depth in the response about this. Some of the things that lower the immune system that he was talking about, because I'd like for our viewers to be aware of something that Allah is telling us very clearly in the Quran and with the Hadith, the teachings of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The dangers are not listed out, but it's considered forbidden in Islam to participate in drugs, alcohol, smoking, and so on. Tell us a little bit about what happens briefly. These things hurt our immune system.
Yeah, exactly. Before I get to that, there are a couple other etiquettes of going to the bathroom, which I'll bring it up. Number one is,
go ahead.
Why do you go to the bathroom? To relieve yourself. That's all what you should do there, and spend the least amount of time you need to spend over there. Don't sit and don't talk on the phone. Don't read news and newspaper and whatnot. That's only for one purpose.
By the way, you remind me of something, because one of my relatives, I went into their bathroom to use it, and I saw the Bible in one of the books that they had, and it was open up, and I was like, oh my God. And when I exited, I asked him, I said, you keep the Bible? Oh yeah, you never know when you want to read something. And I was like, oh my God. Oh. Go ahead.
See, the sanctity of religious book must be kept, and the sanctity requires that it should be at a clean and park place, and where there's nidge and dirty things, it should not be. It should not go over there. So those are the etiquettes. Now, what builds up the immunity is very, very simple. It is a common sense approach. I always emphasize three things. I don't know. Can I use the term Trinity of clean air, clean food, and clean water? Will that be kosher to use the term?
Actually, that's all up to you, Doctor. I stay far away from anything Trinity anymore, but go ahead.
Well, whatever, put the point across, people, that's okay, as long as we do not degrade our religion. But this is clean air, clean food, and clean water. Okay, look here. If you smoke or you smoke marijuana, you're not having a clean air, okay? Now, clean water, if you're drinking alcohol and sodas and things like that, you're not having clean water. I always teach my patients, what should you drink? The patient asked me, what do you drink? I said, drink what animals drink. What do you think animals drink? Animals drink water, okay? But you got to be smarter than the animals and drink clean water, you see. And yeah, I can see inside what it is. I trust you what you say.
I drink Guide Us TV.
Yes, Guide Us TV. Guide us, Allah Ta'ala. Let Allah Ta'ala guide us too.
I mean, go ahead. Oh, we got to take a quick break. We're going to come back, and when we do, I want to talk about smoking, cigarettes, cigars, pipes, and all of that nonsense. So everybody stay tuned, and we're going to take a look at how to watch Guide Us TV on maybe some of the other things you didn't think about, but let's see how we can watch and share Guide Us TV on other platforms. Stay tuned. Stay guided with
Guide Us TV.
Guide Us TV.
Here are some ways to get Guide Us TV. Via satellite on Galaxy 19 FTA. At this satellite frequency, transponder rate 5, frequency 11836 MHz, polarity vertical, symbol rate 20770, FEC 3/4, channel ID, Guide US TV. You can also download the app to your smartphone. Available for iPhones from the App Store, for Android on Google Play. And now Guide Us TV is available on Roku. Get guided with Guide Us TV. Here are some ways to get Guide Us TV. Via satellite on Galaxy 19 FTA. At this satellite frequency, transponder rate 5, frequency 11836 MHz, polarity vertical, symbol rate 20770, FEC 3/4, channel ID, Guide US TV. You can also...
Okay, we are back. I don't know how much that played out. I tried to follow it, but I couldn't. What I wanted to do now is to bring in something that I hope will help all of us to know more about how to get answers to questions. And in order to do that, what we decided to do today is to use one of our websites that really helps a lot of people to know more about Islam. So that website is called searchforislam.com. I'm going to put it up so that you can see it right now. And let's take a look at that. Here is the question we're going to be asked about smoking. So we'll put S-M-O-K-E, or smoking. Yeah, smoking. Yeah, that'll work. Let's see what we get. First thing it pops up there is smoking while in ihram, smoking Islam newsroom, 10 steps to stop smoking. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff. Is smoking hookah and shisha haram like cigarettes? Cigarettes kill, true, but are they haram? Smoking halal or haram? We've got a lot of stuff about smoking cigarettes, pipes, smoking. Okay. Hey, we've even got Tube Islam right here, and that will tell us a whole lot. But I want to go, first of all, to just the general ruling. What does Islam say about the smoking? Is it really haram? Let's go to this one. It says cigarettes kill, true, but are they haram? Let's find out. Yeah, well, there you go. Now what we got here is a picture of a guy who looks like he's a cigarette smoking a human being. All right, well, I think that says it all right there. Are you smoking the cigarette, or is the cigarette smoking you? That's a very good question. And
I'll try to answer that question, you see.
All right, wait a second. Wait, we got to switch it over so that you can be on the camera. Hold on a second. Okay. And put that up here. And yes, doctor, go ahead. Talk to us.
Yes. Two best definition of smoking I have read are, number one, what is a cigarette? It is a tube of paper. At one end is the fire, and the other end is the fuel.
One end is the fire, and the other end is the pool.
And the other end,
well, okay. What we have right now, we have a picture up here for everybody to see, and it says, and it shows a cigarette smoking a human being. So exactly. I'd say the cigarette looks here like he's smoking the fool, and it does say, is smoking haram? That's a question. It is poison. So, doctor, is poison haram?
Well, you know, body Allah Ta'ala has given you is amana from Allah Ta'ala. So it is your job to protect this from all kind of evils, the physical, mental, and spiritual evils, to keep it away. Allah has given you amana. So you see, it is not. I don't know the answer if it's halal or haram, but there is not two categories, halal and haram, in Islam. They're all different categories. One is halal, haram is the extreme end. Then close to the extreme end is makruh, you see, and close to halal is.
Well, let's put it. Let's make it a little simpler. Is poison, giving poison to a child, haram?
Yes, you're trying to endanger the person's life. Exactly.
So let's take a look. Now let's take a look at what the next thing is. It says, warning. This is a warning from the cigarette companies. Warning, tobacco smoke can harm your children. What about that? It says it right on there. It says, warning, tobacco smoke can harm your children. So
let me explain how it can harm your children. You see?
It's talking about lung cancer, stomach cancer, face, skin cancer, and death of a fetus inside of a mother's womb. Cancer for those who have to breathe the secondhand poison air from cigarette smoke. So that's what the warning is talking about on the package of cigarette. And then it says on some of the packages, it kills you. So Simple question. Is it haram?
Well, again, I said they're all, if it's not haram, at least it is makruh. It is not.
Yeah, but the question is it haram to kill little children?
Absolutely, it's haram to kill little children.
Is it haram
but you know,
to expose your children to something that'll kill them?
Yeah. See, let me put it.
I think that's rhetorical. I think it's really obvious. Anybody would say that, right?
Exactly. But you see, here is what the message we need to bring forward, and that message. You know, yeah, my kid will develop cancer, die. I don't know how many decades. You know, right now I'm enjoying my smoking. You know, no, but I'm talking about what are the immediate dangers to children when parents smoke in the house. When you smoke in the house, the amount of respiratory infections is twice as in non-smoking house. Number two, it is twice as severe. Number three, it is twice as kids end up in the hospitalization. So when you smoke, I'm telling you right now today, half of your miseries of your children is merely because of the fact that you're smoking.
Can we make one little change to that? Say
sure.
when somebody smokes instead of saying me,
you.
Because I don't smoke. Okay, I don't.
Yeah,
want
I know.
I'm
talking with the audience. I'm talking to people. Okay.
Yeah.
And so when people smoke,
if anybody smokes, anybody smokes. Yeah.
Anybody that smokes. That's right.
I like to have a third party that's not identified.
Exactly.
Yeah, go ahead.
And you know what you're talking about, the man smoking the human body. This is exactly the second part of the definition I heard or read, was that when the ashes at the end of the cigarette is not that of the cigarette, but that's of the smokers. The ashes at the end of the cigarette don't belong to the cigarette, but to the smoker. Smoker is burning his body away. Just a different perspective of the ashes at the end of the cigarette is not that of cigarette itself, but is that of smoker's ashes.
Okay.
Now we have smoker's burning himself away.
Yeah, we have another issue here, Doctor, and this one is talking about again, these are warnings that are on cigarette packages.
Mm-hmm.
These are warnings on cigarette packages, and I'm looking at one. Let me see if I can show it to the people. Here you go. It said smoking causes blindness, and there's a website, smokingcausesblindness.com. Smoking causes blindness. No, it's .org. All right, take a look at this, guys. And with that, it tells us also that there's an 877 number, 877-270-STOP, S-T-O-P. You can actually call them. And there's a professor who's saying that although some tobacco companies voluntarily published a list of the contents of their cigarettes on websites, they also noted undisclosed processing aids in the finished product. So I want to emphasize this processing aids that they're adding to it. It is really a big danger in there. They're adding things that will really enhance the smoker's experience with the cigarette, meaning
addiction. Increased addiction.
Yes. And so this is a big. Forget about halal haram. Let's just talk about something that's common sense. Can we do that? Let's just talk about common sense. Common sense. Do you really accept to be led around by an addiction within your body. You're helpless against this addiction. If that's the case, if these things can actually take over your life, then you are a worshiper. You're a slave to it. And in Islam, you're only supposed to be an abd, or servant or slave of Almighty God. But here you are. No, I did the same thing you did, Doctor. Let me rephrase that. Here somebody is that if he or she is addicted to something, that means they're a slave of it. They can't help themselves. They have no power against their addiction to alcohol, to drugs, to cigarettes, to their pipe, or to their vaping, or whatever it is that they're doing. And common sense tells you that that is not a smart thing to do. Right, Doctor?
You're 100% right. You see, at one time, they increased the taxes on smoking and alcohol and other substances. And one of my colleague friends, he called them as sin taxes. Sin taxes. I mean, putting tax on alcohol, putting on cigarette, and so on and so forth. You see, there is one thing we have to realize. We were talking about clean air, clean food, and clean water. Since you bring the subject of addiction, you see, I was reading an article by a person who, for many years, worked as an advertising person for food industry. And he put a very powerful comment in his article. He said that food companies intentionally put salt, fat, and sugar in many of the foods because these are addicting foods. And they not only fatten you, but also fatten the profits of the drug companies. So you have to avoid food that have added preservatives, and because they also can act as addictant, sugar, and added extra salt in the processed foods. So the third part of the Trinity is clean food, means the way God made it. You go to the grocery store, you buy fresh meats, fruits, vegetables, greens, herbs, spices, cook it, it becomes delicious. That is the way your food is. If you depend on commercial foods, which have added preservatives, 3,000, 4,000 various added preservatives, coloring dyes, and at food extents, etc., this is a risk factor, just like smoking is a risk factor, and it's not, doesn't make common sense to you that you should be anybody should be smoking.
Yes.
You see, and similarly, no one should be having any of these foods with canned meats, canned foods, canned vegetables,
I think
all the added preserved stuff.
I think we're way off the subject of the smoking in the pictures that we're showing. I think we got away from that, but let's, if you don't mind, we need to come back to that, because that's the images that we're showing from our website. And I'd like for everybody to know that searchforislam.com can help you find answers like this. So the story about pig blood in the cigarettes. Okay, let's go to that one. Doctor, there is a story that's been circulating for a long time about pig blood being in cigarettes. Did you know about that?
No, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Okay, and, well, the story is... Go ahead, Doctor.
You go ahead.
Yeah, the story, it comes to us from the manufacturers themselves, telling us about the fact that we do have, there is pig blood, but it's not in the actual cigarettes, it's in the filters. They use some of the pig blood in some of the filters, but after we exposed that some years ago on our website, I think they took that out. Most likely they don't use it anymore, and if they do, then that would be up to you guys to tell us about whether or not that's halal, or if it's dead blood, it's not live blood, I don't know, and you're not eating it. But let's you know what, let's let Dr. Adil weigh in on that one.
Dr.
Adil, Assalamu alaikum.
How are you, Richard?
Where's your cap?
Yeah.
Oh, we have Richard here. Oh.
Yeah.
Mashallah. Mashallah. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum, Richard.
Walaikum salam. I'm sorry it was so late. I had some difficulties.
Well, you're not too late because this is the long day. We are still on for another hour, a half hour and 10 minutes. So we've got another.
All right.
Yeah, good, on the half hour we take a break, but we'll be back with more. The subject that we're talking about right now, Richard, let me bring you up to date on that.
Mm-hmm.
The subject that we're talking about right this minute is about the cigarettes. Well, in general, the addiction, how it makes you a slave to it, and whether or not that's haram. Then we also found out that there is pig blood in the filters of some of the cigarette companies. Had you been aware of this before?
No, I wasn't. As far as
all right,
pig blood, I mean, my parents both smoked, but there was no filters on cigarettes back in those days.
All right. So, but you have heard of something about this, right?
Yeah, it's just a tad. To me, smoking is like, what are you doing? I mean, I don't even care if there's pig blood in any of it. It's just like, stop it.
Yeah.
It's breathing in hundreds and hundreds of chemicals into your lungs, and why are we doing this? And people are addicted to it every day and continue to do that.
Right.
I understand people get addicted to that, but it's like.
Let me go back and show folks a picture of this thing again. Yeah, the story here is that the pig blood is in the filters, but not in all cigarettes. But that's the least of your problems, according to this article. It says these are still smoke bombs, and it calls it smoke bombs. So when it comes to smoking, don't. If you care, share, tell someone you love to click here. Still think about it? Click here. All right. So, and this is from Islam Newsroom. That's one of our websites, and it was found easily by going to, and let me see if I can put that up there where you can see it. Yep. And we got here through this. Yeah. This is Sheikh Google, or also known as search for Islam.com. All right, so that's our little promo for that. But I want to come back now about this subject of smoking to Dr. Adil. Dr. Adil, when you were away, we talked about smoking. Can you weigh in on that subject for us?
Thank you very much. Initially, and I'm going to be very blunt about it. A lot of people say, okay, you're free. If you do it, do it. That's fine. But now if you're infringing on polluting the air, for instance, to the guy next door, or causing a fire hazard,
we saw that. We saw about that it could actually cause cancer in children.
Absolutely, because of the passive smokers, because of fire hazard, that's no smoking in airplanes, because and the same thing in the hospitals, no smoking in hospitals. These were allowed. If people walking around with their IV pole, I'm sure Dr. Sultan has seen it, and there's smoking cigarettes, and and that's no longer allowed. And then if you go and then if you buy, purchase an insurance, whatever, you put the fact that you're a smoker, that will increase the premium by 3 or to 5 times. And if somebody have cancer-related, smoking-related cancer, which cause about 25 times the cancers, that will just, so now it hits everybody in the health, in the pocket, and it harms others as well. And that's where everybody should be on board on this. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "La darar wa la darar." There is no harm. If anybody smokes, that will harm the person who smokes, ولا ضرر, and you cause it to others. So I said it's a no-no. So that's a clear, straight from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam that smoking is haram and it's harm, and of course and pork is prohibited. And when you see the word haram, guys, is it's prohibited. Allah puts rules and for do's and don'ts, what's
okay.
and for.
What about shisha? Now we have something
Yeah,
here. I have
shisha is as worse, or is as bad, or even worse, because there is that potential now to cause TB, tuberculosis. If you would have gone and have this fluid that's collected at the shisha or the hookah, and a lot of people get hooked because now, between vaping and hookah and smoking, all these are addicting, all these are lethal, all these are over-related with other drugs, because you also you throw in a little bit of marijuana on top of that. So it's just like an absolute disaster, recipe for disaster, health-wise, and accidents and death and fires and so on and so forth. So why? I know it's an easy cash for a lot of people selling these things. I know it's part of the cent stocks on Wall Street, but why would do the harm? And you could go and do some bowling, and you could have some fun doing other things. And the sad part about it, when I meet a lot of people, unfortunately, Muslims and non-Muslims, guys, why do you smoke? Well, it's just to get rid of stress. You know what? It'll add to your stress, physically, financially, and health-wise. And why do you take smoking? Because I just saw a peer pressure, because it's a cool thing and everybody's copying, and that's where we can have to go and reverse this culture, and change culture into prevention and wellness, especially for little kids who are, mashallah, reciting Quran and so on. Those will be the icons, will be the positive influencers, if you would. If you see their friends, because that starts early. It's fifth graders right now. We're talking about vaping home.
Yeah,
and
one
epidemic.
One of our other programs, you quoted a verse from the Quran saying, "Don't kill yourselves, don't throw yourselves in destruction."
Mm-hmm. That's a murder. Whether it's murdering themselves, killing themselves by themselves, whether it's a fast or slow.
What we're looking at on the screen right now. It says smoking is a killer. It causes lung cancer, lung tuberculosis, heart disease. And Allah says, and this is in Surah An-Nisa, verse number 29, and do not kill yourselves. And then another verse in Surah Baqarah 195, and do not throw yourselves into destruction. So it would talk about this. I think our brothers and sisters who are continuing to smoke are not really understanding the very real damage they can do to their lungs. So let's show a picture of that and talk about the damage to the lungs. Go ahead.
Okay, the lungs can be affected. There's 25 cancers related to smoking. Lung cancer is one of them, but everything come in contact with the mouth or the pharynx and the larynx and going into the lung. When it becomes lung, you have initially COPD or emphysema, where people the lung tissue being so destroyed and it becomes like fibrous tissue. There's a lot of problem with the air oxygen exchange. They're not working efficiently to get the oxygen, so all people are super inflated. They're not getting enough air. They're getting more and more of CO2 buildup, and then you have the destruction of the lung tissue, and then the accumulation of the cancer-producing substances in the nicotine and others, and within the smoking, will end up leading to the growth of the cancer cells. And the cancer cells could be in the lung as a primary location, but then can also spread to the body, can go to what we call metastases, or the different spread to the lung, to the other parts of the lung that could be on the other lung, for instance, or to the liver, to the brain, and to the bones.
Okay.
And then most people, say chemotherapy has worse sometimes side effects than the cancer itself.
Wow.
And more than likely, people just spiraling down. I see them waste, they lose 50 to 70 pounds. They lose their hair with the chemo. They're just desperate. And then, their life is shot. And then,
yeah, we
now,
got to take
of course,
a break. We got to take a break. But when we come back, I'm going to be asking Dr. Sultan about wasting our money, if that's okay to do that in Islam. So everybody stay tuned and let's watch how to watch Guide Us TV. Stay right there. We'll be right back right after.
Here are some ways to get Guide Us TV. Via satellite on Galaxy 19 FTA. At this satellite frequency, transponder rate 5, frequency 11836 MHz, polarity vertical, symbol rate 20770, FEC 3/4, channel ID, Guide US TV. You can also download the app to your smartphone. Available for iPhones from the App Store, for Android on Google Play. And now Guide Us TV is available on Roku. Get guided with Guide Us TV. Here are some ways to get Guide Us TV. Via satellite on Galaxy 19 FTA. At this satellite frequency, transponder rate 5, frequency 11836 MHz, polarity vertical, symbol rate 20770, FEC 3/4, channel ID, Guide US TV. You can also download the app to your smartphone. Available for iPhones from the App Store, for Android on Google Play. And now Guide Us TV is available on Roku. Get guided with Guide Us TV. Here are some ways to get Guide Us TV. Via satellite on Galaxy 19 FTA. At this
and we are back. Okay, guys. MashaAllah. We're going to be asking Dr. Sultan about this next question that we have. I hope that we're able to get some kind of reference from the Quran here, and I'll see if I can put this up on the screen for everybody to take a look at. Yeah, here we go. And Allah is telling us in the Quran, don't waste your money. Don't spend wastefully in a manner of a spendthrift. Verily, spendthrifts are brothers of the devil, and the devil is ever ungrateful to his Lord. That's in Surah Al-Isra, chapter 17, if you go by the numbers like I do. It said the smoker is unjust to himself as well as his family by burning up his money and his lungs. Smokers do not just cause harm to themselves, but they also put harm on others around them. And the Prophet ﷺ said there should be neither harming nor reciprocating harm. In other words, people shouldn't hurt each other, and if you get hurt, you don't just pay back with more hurt. Basically, that's what I understood from that. But let's ask Dr. Sultan. Jazakallah khair, Doctor. Go ahead.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Let me give you the medical perspective. Of course, what you said, Allah Ta'ala says, don't spend money wastefully. All agree. But when we are talking about smoking, we are missing the very basic common thing, which is a 5-year-old kid can tell you smoke is harmful. We don't have to be 30 or 50 years old to know that the smoking is bad. But the key question is, why doesn't smoker understand this when as a 5-year-old kid can understand? The answer to that is the very addiction phenomenon of tobacco and all the chemicals in there. It is a very addicting substance. And when there's an addicting substance, you cannot logic out with a person with harms and benefits. What you have to do is you have to make him understand the real nature of addiction. And then I will give you the practical example. Then how you can get rid of the smoking. The addiction has two components to it. One is a stimulatory component and one is the withdrawal component. Let me first take this example because everyone knows about what I'm going to talk about. Is how many people know that if they don't get their caffeine, they get a caffeine withdrawal headache. So, okay, all right. So what you have learned, or they have learned, is if they keep having enough coffee or tea or caffeine in their system, they are relatively at a asymptomatic stage, or there are no symptoms. So when the level goes down, then you start having cravings, you start feeling uneasiness, you feel stress, you have your addictant, and you feel better for a little while. Then the level goes down, and then you have it again. So over a period of time, the number of caffeine increases from 1 cup to 2 to 4 to 6 or 8 or whatever, to keep you that relatively in asymptomatic state. But eventually, things come that it goes so down that you start having headaches, and one may go to the doctor and say, I'm having headaches for 5 years. No. The doctor who understands addiction say it started 15 years ago when you started drinking coffee. The same thing applies to the cigarette smoke.
Yeah, I think we're missing a point here. We're talking about smoking, not coffee.
Yes.
Coffee is good. Smoking is bad. There, now, let's get that straight.
I gave the example. Now I'm talking to, when you understand the addiction phenomenon, now I'm going to talk about how this applies to cigarette smoke. So when you smoke, you feel generally better. When the level goes down, then you feel anxious, you have your smoking, and that goes on and on. You see, now, to stop addiction, you cannot slow it down from 10 cigarettes to 8 and 7 and 5. When you slow it down, it can less, you get into the withdrawal phase. It means you are feeling very nervous, very irritable, depressed, whatnot. So the key is you have to cut your addiction completely right now. If you want to quit smoking, you have to quit right now. For 4 or 5 days, you're going to be in miserable state. You could be, one could be miserable state with headaches or irritability or mood swings and just restlessness.
Yeah.
But if you maintain that 4 or 5 days, then all the addiction is out of your system. You get on an even keel. You feel much better. And this is the addiction phenomenon that the drug companies take advantage of them and say, okay, you can have nicotine gum or you can have nicotine patch and stuff like that. We just promote the addiction.
Yeah,
so we have to cut it down like this.
Yeah, Doctor, can we say that those things that they mentioned earlier on, I think you were here when we heard this about some of the cigarette companies said that they put in some other ingredients that they didn't exactly, enhancement, but they didn't tell us what it was. But they were for addiction purposes. Is that right?
Yeah, you see, these are the beautiful words that we use. Enhancement. You know, my girlfriend.
Of beautiful words.
His girlfriend, you know, his boyfriend. Yeah. They're beautiful names to all the things that are haram in Islam, you see. So we have to understand the beautiful words that really show us the heinous character, heinous nature of the actions of people.
Yeah.
You see.
Can we?
The same token, Sheikh, I want to echo on what the Dr. Sultan said. Those guys spend millions. Use psychologists on different colors. They have over 500 types of flavors, for instance, on vaping to make it. Hey, you want to have with fruits and this and that to floor kids and little ones, and how to combat that, how to counter that. I'm talking solutions now. There has to be behavior change or behavior modification early in the game. Don't sit and have a company with the kids or hang out when all what they do is just vape and have drugs and smoking and so on. Don't hang out with them. Rasulullah pick your friends, wisely. And in the Quran in Surah Al-Kahf, like today's Jummah, وَاصْبِرْ نَفْسَكَ مَعَ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ. If you're going to hang around with good friends, pick up your friends that they will guide you to do salah. We can have soccer. We can have good things.
And on another note, we also, that makes a lot of sense, Doctor. On another note, though, we've got something here that I'd really like to share with everybody before we wrap all of this up. And that,
can I just get something in here for 2 seconds?
Yes, please. Yes.
I counseled kids for more than 4 decades, and the problem is not a factual problem. It's not, we can't present to them this is what this is going to do to you, here's the medical problems, here's the difficulties. The kids, their comment is, not me, I'm never going to die. When they're 15, 16, they're young, the sky's the death, they're not going to die. That's a mentality that says, I know my limits. You hear that from drug kids all the time. I can handle it. And so it's a mental thing of a kid kind of understanding himself, saying, this is not going to come near me. Yeah, I can smoke, I can do drugs, I can do all this, but I know my limits. I'm fine. And all of the pictures and the difficulties from medical and spiritual things, it just goes right over their head. It's like, no, this is fun. I'm young.
Richard, that is called invincible.
Yeah, it's called that and disillusioned. But kids do that. That's why you kids are out there and they're racing, drag racing cars. They like things so fast. They like the drugs. They like they can have sex unprotected forever because they're never going to get some girl pregnant. They're never going to get a disease. It's just like, not me.
Yeah.
It doesn't, it's just a denial that comes with the territory that is really tough to deal with. And the doctor was right in regards to the amount of money that is poured into just to get them going in the first place. And once that addiction sets in, it's really, really hard. But they start off going, yeah, I can smoke a cigarette or 2. Yeah, I can smoke a cigarette or 3 or 4. And all of a sudden it's a pack.
Well, I think that we've got something. You're saying that maybe shocking them with the facts is not going to help, or doesn't help as much, or what?
I think it helps, but it's just like the heroin addict does not think of health. He just is like, this makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And without God in their lives, without submission, they're looking for comfort from anywhere.
Well, let me tell you something very interesting part of the addiction, because if you don't understand this part, it's difficult to understand what you're saying. You see, every disease has a symptom. For example, arthritis has a symptom of joint pain. Okay, chest pain, heart attack has a symptom of chest pain, etc. Similarly, addiction has a symptom. You can tell an addict that this addictant, tobacco or coffee or whatever you're addicted to, is hurting you. But when you give that person that advice, it is as if is falling on the deaf ears.
Oh, yeah.
So you can explain all the dangers and blah, blah, blah. But this advice is falling on the deaf ears. So that's symptom to keep in mind.
Make a parallel to talking to somebody about the way they live their life. That's going to determine whether they go to Jannah or whether they go to hellfire. And they can hear the facts. They can hear what you believe. They can read the Quran. They can read the Bible. They can read the Torah, and they go, yeah, I'm young. I've got a long life to live, and it won't affect me.
But Richard, I'm glad you mentioned that, and the 4D years of counseling. The data are out in terms of the death You said, I'm not going to die. Yes, there's a lot of death from, drugs and vaping and smoking. And it's a multi, once they start on one thing, it's not just a one thing, like smoking or vaping. It's all of the above. And that's why we have to have an approach. If you're going to approach this, there has to be, get rid of the bad company or the bad influence, because those are the ones who get you in the first place. We're a product of the environment. Like we're sitting here talking about Allah and Akhirah and all good things. So we have to hang around with a good company. Number two, get rid of the vaping equipment. Whatever it is that's out there that reminds you psychologically, you got to snap out of it and change. Maybe go to the park, maybe go to sports, maybe do other things. And of course, the spiritual part is a mandatory to change the mindset. And then never quit trying to let people help them quit smoking, bad habits. And ultimately, if we combine this together, with the, kind of a approach that use positive psychology and so on to reverse the other guys, what I try to do, I think that will be effective. I've seen it, it come back.
I have one more.
Yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I have one more issue here that I'd like to bring up. Again, it's from our website. It's from Islam Newsroom. So it's something that we've been talking about for the last 20 years. It's not something new at all on our websites, but I would like to reintroduce it for a benefit of some of the newer generations who might not have seen this and might benefit from it. So if you guys will indulge me just a moment, I'd like to share that with them. And I'll describe it as much as I can because you won't be seeing it. They can see it now. It says the smokers cause the spread of evil because they smoke openly and in this way encourage others to do the same. Smokers don't like fasting and doing salah because they're impatient. They want to go for the next round, meaning they want to get their next cigarette. The smoker becomes an addict. The smoker smells bad, which is something you're not supposed to do, go in the masjid smelling bad with garlic or cigarettes or onion. It said his car, his home, his clothes carry that bad smell too. And here's the picture. What's depicting is showing somebody with a huge cancerous growth right on their neck, right under their chin and going all the way down almost to the collar. And it says smoking can cause a slow and painful death. And then it says from the above, it's clear that smoking is evil, and so for this reason it is haram, unlawful in Islam, and if you are under any kind of stress, then turn to Allah, read the Quran, and stay with people who don't smoke. And that goes back to what you said earlier, Dr. Adil. And then it says, seek Allah's help and don't be enslaved by something that burns you and your money. And that is by Dr. Salah Saleh.
So do you want to put that into action and get some boosting of the hearts of people?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
Now we have a display here that I would like to show everybody. This is showing cigarettes per year per person, the color, the shading of the red. When it's so dark it's almost black, that means that these people are using cigarettes per year per person, over 3,000 cigarettes. And then the next shade down is 2,700, the next 2,400, 2,100, 1,800, 1,500, 1,200, 900, 600, 300, and then 0, and then no statistics available. But so that there are some countries that you this map, you can see that they're gray, so that means that we don't have the stats. It doesn't mean they don't smoke. But the interesting subject here for me, I'm noticing that in the Muslim countries, where I would have thought it would have been the heaviest, because I've seen so many in certain countries, I won't say, but I'm wrong, because the worst one is all of the Russia, Spain, and even worse, believe it or not, is coming from, looks like Italy. What is that connects over there? I can't see it very good, but you can do your own research, guys. These people that it almost looks black, and that means it's an excess of 3,300 cigarettes per year. 3,300 cigarettes per year. That's 10 per day or more. Wow. And U.S. is actually an average of 900. It's moving all over the place. Dr. Adil, please comment on that for us.
Yes, I'm going to give you one thing, effective way that I mentioned in Ramadan, and a very unusual new way of fundraising. You know, I said, how many people smoke? So they raise their hands, and these guys, don't worry, we're not going to report you or anything. How much do you think you spend average, each year? Between 3 to 5 grand a year. So inshallah, in Ramadan, who's going to quit smoking? Maybe 10 people. Okay, we just got 50 grand for the masjid. MashaAllah, Allah. So because, people pay for the smoke to destroy their health and then have a double whammy. So I believe we made that clear. And now how to do it, the 3 prescriptions. Number 1, don't hang around with the bad company that will put you back to smoking and addiction. Number 2, and then find new hobbies and useful ways to spend your time. Number 2, get rid of the equipment that reminds you with that and change the environment around. And number 3, change the spiritual environment. And then this is, if you're ready for hard dose hard series, before we wrap it up. This is in Surah Al-Hashr, verses number 10.
Keep in mind, we only got about 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we'll do like a minute and a half.
All right.
So in Surah Al-Hashr, this is verses 10, so people can hopefully get their iman boosted and feel good, and now we're going to go around and tell everybody, quit smoking, get rid of it, and you'll be fine. You'll be so much fine, even if you do it cold turkey. Surah Al-Hashr, verses number 10. وَالَّذِينَ جَاءُوا مِنْ بَعْدِهِمْ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لَنَا وَلِإِخْوَانِنَا الَّذِينَ سَبَقُونَا بِالْإِيمَانِ. Remember, in the Quran there is a cure and guidance. So this is the cure. وَلَا تَجْعَلْ فِي قُلُوبِنَا غِلًّا لِلَّذِينَ آمَنُوا رَبَّنَا إِنَّكَ رَءُوفٌ رَحِيمٌ. If you want to play it.
Yeah, Surah Hashr.
Hashr, verses number 10. I'm going to read the translation here.
Okay.
And they will share for those who came after them, saying, O our Lord, forgive us and our brothers who preceded us in the faith, and put not in their hearts any resentment towards those who have believed. Our Lord, indeed, you are the kind and merciful.
All right, so, we got it. Are you ready for it?
Go.
وَالَّذِينَ جَاءُوا مِن بَعْدِهِمْ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لَنَا وَلِإِخْوَانِنَا وَالَّذِينَ جَاءُوا مِن بَعْدِهِمْ يَقُولُونَ رَبَّنَا اغْفِرْ لَنَا وَلِإِخْوَانِنَا الَّذِينَ سَبَقُونَا بِالْإِيمَانِ يقولون ربنا اغفر لنا ولإخواننا الذين سبقونا بالإيمان ولا تجعل في قلوبنا غلا للذين آمنوا ربنا إنك رؤوف رحيم.
And there is a share for those who came after them, saying, Our Lord, forgive us and our brothers who preceded us in faith, and put not in our hearts any resentment towards those who have believed. Our Lord, indeed you are kind and merciful.
MashaAllah. There's again in Surah Al-Hashr, staying on Surah Al-Hashr, verses number 14.
All right, let's play that one for you.
لا يقاتلونكم جميعا إلا في قرى محصنة أو من وراء جدر بأسهم بينهم شديد تحسبهم جميعا وقلوبهم شتى ذلك بأنهم قوم لا يعقلون.
They will not fight you all, except within fortified cities or from behind walls. Their violence among themselves is severe. You think they are together, but their hearts are diverse. That is because they are a people who do not reason.
Okay, I'm going to wrap it up with Surah As-Saf, which is 61, verses number 5.
6, 5.
Saf 61, 5.
Yeah, I got it. I'm just making it happen here. There we go.
وإذ قال موسى لقومه يا قوم لم تؤذونني وقد تعلمون أني رسول الله إليكم فلما زاغوا أزاغ الله قلوبهم والله لا يهدي القوم الفاسقين.
And mention, O Muhammad, when Moses said to his people, O my people, why do you harm me, while you certainly know that I am a messenger of Allah to you? And when they deviated, Allah caused their hearts to deviate. And Allah does not guide the defiantly disobedient people.
This is emphasized the spiritual component of getting rid of any bad habits or any bad behavior. There's فَلَمَّا زَاغُوا أَزَاغَ اللَّهُ قُلُوبَهُم. When they deviated, they kind of went away from Sirat al-Mustaqim. That's what we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us on the straight path. And when people deviate, from that by whatever, addiction that we mentioned, that's a deviation actually. And a distraction from, and a distraction to the heart, mind, soul, and entire body. And this deviation could also have an effect. So part of the very important part of rehabilitation and helping people to get rid of it after the part of the environment, you have to, get the right environment, hanging around with the right friends, doing the right activity, and staying and destroy all the vaping equipment and all the hookah and all that. Because if they're sitting there, you may, go back and then you will be deviated back again. So it relapse. And we see this, happen because people did not address these things. I'm giving you like the kind of prescription formula that people will not only recover, but will stay recovered and out from that. And the third component, to go back on the straight path and keep the heart, in contact and continuous contact with Allah, to strengthen them, to keep them away from these toxins and away from this, because now they're the next mortality. That's what's happening now. A lot of young people are dying. And why? Because the infrastructure, if you would, by all these drugs and alcohol and vaping and STDs and all that, they're actually been formed, and it's weakened the immune system. So coronavirus will come and kind of finish them off. But if we look into that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us this nice formula, and hopefully this will benefit everyone, inshallah.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah. Thank you very much, Doctor, for your concentration on this subject and presenting it for us about the hearts. And I want to encourage all of us to work on our hearts so that we will be more relaxed with the things that are going on and eliminate some of this stress by simply doing what Doctor was telling me. You guys didn't see this part, but when I was playing with the phone in the beginning and it shut down and everything, and he said, take 3 breaths. And I went, and then another one, and then a third one. Try that right now at home. Go ahead, guys. Now, seriously, just go like that.
3D, nice.
I'm going to switch between the guys here. I'm going to let everybody see. We're doing it here. Come on, everybody. Richard, go ahead. Come on. Yeah. Dr. Sultan, come on.
That was my third breath.
Yeah. Dr. Adel, come on. We got to see you. Come on.
Okay.
You look like you're yawning, man.
Do I have the time for the fourth breath? Do I have the time for the fourth breath?
Why not?
Okay, all right.
It's free.
Okay, all right. So
yeah, we need to be praying for our young people.
Yeah, we do. We only got 5 seconds left. Let's use it wisely. And let's ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give hidayah to all of us. Allahumma ya Rabb. Ya Rabbi, ihdina siratul mustaqim. Ameen.
Ameen.
And everybody.
And guide us with?
Guide us, TV. Oh, I love that, Dr. Sultan. MashaAllah. He's got it. Get guided with?
Guide us, TV.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah. I love you guys. I love you guys. MashaAllah.
Here are some ways to get Guidus TV. Via satellite on Galaxy 19 FTA. At this satellite frequency, transponder rate 5, frequency 11836 MHz, polarity vertical, symbol rate 20770, FEC 3/4, channel ID, Guide US TV. You can also download the app to your smartphone. Available for iPhones from the App Store, for Android on Google Play. And now Guidus TV is available on Roku. Get guided